international relations. How the questions were being asked, PYQs on ethics in IR. What Russia did in USSR, one wrong decision. Why United States of America is now becoming close friend of India? Hey, you people should not come into our country. That is the program called as international relations. So today we will be discussing ethics in international relations. So how the ethics is also important in international relations. In this particular class, how the questions were being asked, PYQs on ethics in IR, few questions which were being asked will be discussing, and what are the various issues in international where ethics were being violated. For example, Nile River, Egypt. For example, we can also understand how the apartheid, human rights violation, a black kid was being put inside the cage for the entertainment of white small girls, so that they will be entertaining him as a parrot. So this was the reality in Africa because of apartheid. How they misused their innocence, how they misused the international exploitation, colonialism for their exploitation, for their benefit. Like such type of topics we will be discussing today, and what Russia did in Ukraine. So what the Russia did in Ukraine is ethically correct or not. So we are not going to discuss about international relations, but we are going to discuss how ethics are going to impact, how ethics is being violated in international relations. These all topics we will be discussing. In Russia, what happened? In Sri Lanka, what happened? LTTE. So we are not going to discuss about LTTE, but how Sri Lankan mainstream had violated ethics on this particular population of people who are called as Sri Lankan Tamilians. In this way, we will be discussing and we will be coming to the conclusion. So today, we will mainly focus upon ethics in international relations. Ethics in international relations mainly focus on three factors. Mainly three factors. That's it. If you remember these three factors, it is done. Number one, national interest. Ethics. Per se, not only ethics, any country with whom they are going to maintain the relationship, with whom they are going to fight, depends upon their national interest. What is their national interest? So, in the process of national interest, they might violate the ethics. They might not follow the values. They might not follow the morals. So, first part which is coming up in ethics is national interest. What is the national interest? Whether what I am going to do is according to my national interest or not. So, complete ethics in international relations will rotate around these three topics. One is national interest. Second is interest in humanity in general. For example, in Rakhine state, Rohingya Muslims were being exterminated. So, how humanity is getting violated? How humanity is been unbothered? And finally, sovereignty. Whether sovereignty is being respected or not. For example, in the last class, I told you, in 1991, because of rupee depreciation, as well as because of our foreign reserves becoming almost zero, we are not in a position to self-sustain. Then we took loan from IMF and World Bank. I told you. Then IMF and World Bank told that you have to implement liberalization, privatization, globalization, as well as good governance reforms. It is good or not, I am not bothered. But in that particular process, what they told, they compromised our sovereignty. They told that you have to make these reforms. See, who is the international organization will be giving guidelines to us? We are sovereign, we have democratic setup, we have parliament, but instead of our parliament setup, why we have to listen to IMF? Why we have to listen to World Bank? Means our sovereignty has been compromised. If you know popularly, Osama bin Laden was been present in Pakistan. US Army, SEALs, elite, like our NSG, National Security Guards, like NSG, the same complementary United States of America is SEALs, SEALs, SEALs. What they did, without informing the Pakistan, they entered into the soil of Pakistan, without informing the High Commissioner of Pakistan or without informing the government of Pakistan, how a foreign officers can come. So they went into the Pakistan and they caught the Osama bin Laden and they killed the Osama bin Laden and they took the dead body of Osama bin Laden and went off. Complete compromise of sovereignty. So this three, the ethics in international relations mainly rotate around these three concepts. Number is called as what is my national interest? क्या होता है मेरा national interest? What I am going to get? Whether my country is going to get benefit or not. So everything rotated around what I am going to get. National interest. Number two is humanity, protection of humanity in general. Number three is protection of sovereignty. In this way, we are going to understand the ethics in international relations. Before that, we will see the PYQs, how they asked questions on international relations. First one, the will to power. See, understand the question. 2000 question, 23 question. The will to power exists. The will to power. I want to exercise my power. Will to power exists, but it can be tamed and be guided by rationality and principles of moral duty. The will to power exists, but it can be tamed and be guided by the rationality and principles of moral duty. For example, now Russia had invaded Ukraine. So Russia want to exercise its power on Ukraine, saying that once upon a time you are part of USSR. So I took power, I had power on you, now also I want to take power on you. So I want to exercise power on you, Ukraine, but it can be controlled and be guided by rationality. What is the rationality? Yes, once upon a time Ukraine was part of USSR, but now USSR is no more. Now USSR is no more. The rationality is Ukraine is an independent country, Russia is an independent country. How Russia is having sovereignty, on the same lines Ukraine is also having the sovereignty. And principles of moral duty, how you can go into the Russia and how you can go into the Ukraine and how you can kill the people, how you can kill the civilians. On that context, this question was been asked. Examine this statement in the context of international relations. So which international relations at the time? It is mainly with respect to Russia planning. 2000, Russia didn't invade it, but Russia planned to invade Ukraine. So that is the reason the question was been asked. Number two, refugees should not be turned back to the country where they would face persecution or human rights violation. 2001, what happened? ISIS, a terrorist organization in Syria, the terrorist organization in Iran and Iraq, where they are been killing the Sunni terrorist organization ISIS is killing the Shias, and Shias were been running away. Shias were been running away in persecution, and they ran and they crossed the Mediterranean Sea. You see the map. If you see here, there is something called as Mediterranean Sea. So here if you see, there is Iran, Iraq, they moved here and they ran into the Europe. So here what Europe did, no, you people should not come into our country. You people should not come into my country. Yes, you might be killed there. You might be subjected to persecution there. But this is our independent country. You are not allowed to come into my country. That was the issue. Refugees should not be turned back to the country where they would face persecution. So they traveled and they came here. Or in Egypt also there was civil war. Sudan also there was civil war. Libya, Muhammad Gaddafi was been killed, was been civil war. So they crossed the Mediterranean Sea, reached Greece, reached Spain. They went up to France. They went up to England. But what the France told? What the Belgium told? What the Spain told? Hey, you people should not come into our country. You might be subjected to persecution. You might be killed in your country. You might be subjected to violence, but you are not my citizen. Please don't come into my country. So those people are called as who? Refugees. In my own country, if my own people are killing me because of civil war, then I run to save my life. Where I will run? Into the nearby country. And that nearby country, when I go into that country, I will become who? Refugee. Refugees should not be turned back to the country where they would face persecution or human rights violation. Rohingya Muslims came to India, in Northeast India. If India told that, hey, you Rohingya Muslims, you are not citizens of India, don't come to my country. If I am not allowing them to come into India, and when they go to Myanmar, Rakhine Buddhists are killing them, then what will happen to their life? International ethics, now you see. Examine the statement with reference to ethical dimension being violated by the nation claiming to be democratic with open system. We are democratic country. Who are telling? European countries are telling, no? What the European countries will tell? We are a democratic country. They tell that we are a democratic country. We are open countries. We are the protectors of the human rights. If you are the protector of human rights, you are the torch bearer of democracy, then compulsory you should allow whom? Refugees. If you are telling you are democratic, if you are telling you are open society, if you are telling that you are transparent, you are telling that you are the protector of the human rights, then you should allow refugees. Then why you are not allowing refugees? If you are not allowing, they reached up to you, on the border you are stopping them saying that you are refugees, and when they go back to their own country, their civil war is happening, there the people are killing them. Now where they have to go? You are telling I am the torch bearer of human rights. I am the protector of democracy. I am open society. We are for international human rights. If that is the case, you complete European countries, why you are not allowing? India, what India did? When the Sri Lankan Tamilians were being exodus, were been coming into India, India welcomed them. When in Rakhine state of Myanmar, when the Rohingya Muslims were being killed in the Northeast India, India welcomed the refugees. In 1971 from Bangladesh, when Bangladesh happened, when the Bangladesh state was being formed, the Bangladeshi Hindus were being killed there. So when they ran into the Tripura, when they ran into the West Bengal, India allowed them. So we are the open society. We are the torch bearers of democracy. You people, when the people are flowing from Africa, when the people are flowing from Middle East, you didn't allow them. You, in spite, you are saying yourself as a torch bearer of democracy or torch bearer of human rights protector. Then why you are, then where they should go? So you are bothered only about your country. That means you are not bothered about human beings. That means you are bothered only about your citizens. Are you thinking your citizens are only human rights, or your citizens are only human beings? Whether the refugees are not human beings? Whether you don't have any feeling, whether you don't have any compassion, whether you don't have any sympathy, whether you don't have any empathy towards other people like refugees who are coming from Syria, who are coming from Palestine, who are coming from Myanmar, who came from Sri Lanka. On this context, the question was been asked. Now you see, refugees should not be turned back to go back to your country. We should not tell where they would face persecution or human rights violation. Examine the statement with reference to ethical dimension being violated by the nation claiming to be the democratic with open society. Means what we are understanding, how the questions are being framed by the UPSC. The current thing which is happening, which we are adding with current affairs. We are adding with ethical point of view. Current affairs with ethical point of view. Third question, 2023. International aid is an accepted form of helping resource-challenged nations. Yes, international aid is a very good step for those countries where the resources are challenged. Means I don't have resource. So for me, if any international aid is coming, means it's a blessing. Yes or no? Now you see. Comment on ethics in contemporary international aid. Support your answer with suitable example. We will take our own example in 1991 when we are suffering with foreign reserve problem. IMF and World Bank had gave bailout to us, but it also added what? It also added what? Tails. It also added what? Conditions. It also added what? Hinges. And told that, yes, I will give you, don't worry, I will give you. Which is nothing but exploitation, no? You want a job, you don't worry, I will give you, but you have to do this. Or you are suffering with this problem, don't worry, I will solve you, but you have to do this. The help should be unconditional. The support should be unconditional. But the help, aid, support is given is Conditional. And there is nothing called as conditional support. There is nothing called as conditional help. There is nothing called as conditional aid. If you are putting some condition, means you are expecting something. When you are expecting something, then how you can tell it as a support? If you are keeping some conditions, means how you can tell it as an help? So no international organization is helping, no international organization is supporting. Why? Because you are coming up with hinges. In this way, the current issues which are associated, compulsory one question will be from international relations, compulsory one question will be from RTI or citizen charters or grievance redressal mechanism or whistleblower. From this 4, compulsory one question, from ethics in international relations, compulsory one question, ethics in corporate governance, which we will discuss tomorrow also, there will be one question. So now we will go into the subject. I am not going to discuss the model answer. I want you to understand what type of questions they are asking. International relations refer to the interaction of countries with other countries in how? Strategic, economic, political, social and other spheres. Every country will be in relationship with other countries because of following factors. One is strategic. Why United States of America is now becoming close friend of India? It's a strategy to contain China. If not, once upon a time there were been enemies. The same United States of America supported Pakistan to fight bomb India. Now the same United States of America is supporting India to curtail China. So there is no relation, it's nothing but a strategy. One country maintaining relationship with other country is strategic. Economical relation. For example, Bhutan is maintaining very good relationship with India. Why? Because Bhutan is landlocked country. They don't have coastline. So they depends upon India's coastline, mainly Kolkata coastline. Economical relations. Political relations. Few countries which are called as G4 countries, group 4 of countries, G4 countries. G4 countries are those countries who are asking for permanent membership in United Nations Security Council. Those 4 countries like Japan, like Brazil, like India, like South Africa. These are the 4 countries which are called as G4. G4 countries are those countries who are aspiring to become a member in UNSC, in bracket permanent members. So what? Now we 4 are maintaining a very good political relationships. Who? India, Japan, Brazil, South Africa. Why we are maintaining very good political relations? Because we 4 want to enter into United Nations Permanent Security Council. So how many permanent security councils are there as of now? 5 are there. Who are these? USA, UK, Russia, China, France. These 5 countries are permanent UNSC members as of now. These 4 countries are planning to become UNSC permanent members. So we 4 people are combining together and we are demanding United Nations organization reforms. Why? Because our aspirations are same. So we are coming together how? Politically, socially, economically? Politically. Why? Because entering into UNSC is a political demand or economical demand? Political demand. Political demand. So political relations we are maintaining. Social relations we are maintaining. Yes, obviously. Bangladesh, we are social relationships. Why? Because once upon a time, Bangladesh is part of Indian subcontinent. And in 1971, Bangladesh was being formed mainly because of India's support. So there is a strong brotherly feeling with Bangladesh. And not only that, 30% of the people who are living in Bangladesh are Hindus. And majority of the people who are speaking are Bengali. So we have a social relationship with Bangladesh. We cannot just leave Bangladesh like that. Oh, they are fighting with us, they are killing Hindus or they are against India's interest, means we cannot leave it. Why? Because we are having what relationship? Social relationship. So the relations between the 2 countries mainly depends upon strategy, economy, political, social and other spheres like cultural also. Other spheres like cultural. For example, India and Sri Lanka, we have historical and cultural relations. How? Our Ravanasura birth happened in Sri Lanka. So historically we are connected with Sri Lanka. The culture of Sri Lanka and the culture of India is almost same. Same Tamil culture is there in Sri Lanka also. So these are the criteria whereby the relations will be maintained in international arena. Means what you have to understand? In a international relations questions also, between 2 countries, you no need to confuse, no need to by heart. Political 1 point, social 1 point, economical 1 point, cultural 1 point, strategic 1 point. That's it. 2 pages will be filled. One map you have to draw. Oh, map, 1 mark. Like that you have to plan. Strategy. Ethics is guide for good and bad. So ethics is a guide for good and bad. Means what? Whether this country is doing good or not. For example, we have examples kuda fast kaskonde meeku enno gurtostayi. Everything we cannot give print out, no, everything we cannot dictate also, because huge enormous examples are there. Pen should run very fastly. You know, there is a program called as PL 480. There is a program called as PL 480. What is a program called as PL 480? 1960s. India was been suffering with huge food security issues, which is called as ship to mouth. If the food grains are coming from ship, then only it will go into our mouth. That policy is called as what? Ship to mouth policy. So we don't have food grains only. That was the situation, and we completely depend upon American imports. So America should send the food grains, and that program is called as what? PL 480. So at that time, India was completely dependent upon PL 480. So parallelly what is happening? United States of America is bombarding Vietnam. A small country, a innocent country, a village-oriented country. If you see the map, you can see there. A village-oriented country here. A village, a Vietnam, small country, a thin line, a small country. This Vietnam is attacked by this much big country. A small country somewhere is been attacked by this much country. Then our Lal Bahadur Shastri was very daring person, short man, but very, very daring person. He told in front, and he told that yes, our food grains are dependent upon America. In our country, if our people should eat food, compulsory food grains should come from America. But I am telling that America what it is doing on Vietnam is not at all rational. Yes, I know our food grains is completely dependent upon America. But still, what is the policy of America? Like bombarding Vietnam is not at all accepted, is not at all allowed. He told, I know that this might impact my national interest. Lal Bahadur Shastri told, my stand on USA's war on Vietnam might impact my national interest. They might stop my food grains, but I cannot come out from the scientific thing. I cannot come from my ethics. I cannot give my wrong opinion. So my correct opinion, or my real opinion, my honest opinion is what America is doing on Vietnam is not at all acceptable. Immediately, United States of America stopped PL 480. And India started suffering with food grains. Then India asked, why you stopped? Why you are not importing food grains to India? Then ask Lal Bahadur Shastri, he will import. Why, sir? What happened, sir? We are bombarding Vietnam. Whether I am bombarding you? No. I am bombarding Vietnam. What is the problem? Means what? International relations will be impacted. Long-term relations. The same country today is India's close friend. The same country who supported Pakistan in terrorizing or in funding terrorism to bomb India was supporting India. For example, USSR, Russia planned to attack Afghanistan. In the process of Russia, once upon a time when it was a USSR, it also want to enter into Afghanistan. You know, in the world, there is only one country which was been not invaded by any foreign powers. You know, that is Afghanistan. One country was not invaded by any country. Each and every country in the world was been invaded by foreign powers, except one country, which is called as Afghanistan. It's because of its mountainous, it's because of its terrain, it's because of risk, it is because of barbaric people. But Russia attempted. So Russia, when it was big, it also thought to enter into Afghanistan. When Russia planned to enter into Afghanistan, USA understood that USSR is expanding. It is going for expansion. Then USA had created Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda was been created by USA against USSR. Al-Qaeda was been created by USA to resist whom? USSR. The same Al-Qaeda bombarded 9/11. The same Al-Qaeda had bombarded 9/11. So many things will be there in the international relations. Those all we will be discussing. So ethics is a guide. So ethics will tell whether what we are doing. Once upon a time, you are the same person who told that Al-Qaeda is good. And you are the same person today, you are telling Al-Qaeda is bad. Oh, for you what is good, that is good. For you what is bad is bad. So that means every country, every organization should work according to your convenience. The same Al-Qaeda was been created by United States of America against Russia. Now, at the time you told that what Al-Qaeda is doing, they are patriots. They are protecting their country, you told. The same Al-Qaeda, when they attacked United States of America 9/11 Twin Towers, you are telling that they are terrorists. So same country, two stands. The same country who told Pakistan is a poor country, Pakistan every year they used to send $2 billion of aid from United States of America to Pakistan. The same United States of America is telling that now Pakistan is a home to terrorist organizations. The same country with two opinions, means you are giving opinions according to your convenience. Ethics in international relations refers to the guide to be good and bad in nations' interaction with other nations in strategic, social, economical, political and other spheres. So mainly these relations will be happening with respect to the strategic, social, political, economical, cultural relations. But here ethics will tell, okay, you maintain your strategic relation, you maintain your social relation, you maintain your economic relation, you maintain your cultural relation. But ethics is something which will tell that relation is good or bad. So that evaluation is important. That examination is important. Same what example I told you. The same country who told Al-Qaeda is patriots, now the same country is telling that Al-Qaeda people are terrorists. The same country who had every year provided $2 billion of aid, now the same country is telling that we stop aid to Pakistan and they are home for terrorist organizations. So, ethics is good or bad in international relations will be changing according to the time. But you can take the example of India. India from day one, our friend was Russia. When USSR was there, India was a friend of USSR. Today Russia is there, India is also a very close friend of Russia. One thing is there with respect to India, that is consistency. One thing is there, consistently we are being. Consistently Pakistan is supporting separatists in Kashmir. Accepted? Pakistan is supporting separatists in Kashmir. They are asking for a separate country called as Azadi Kashmiri. You know this knowledge, I know this. Pakistan is supporting Kashmir, a separate country. India, when these are our Sri Lankan Tamilians, our Tamil people, Tamil speaking people, Sri Lanka map. When these people were being demanding for separate country, India didn't support it. India didn't support it. India told, please don't go for violence. Don't go for violence. Talk with the Sinhalese. Tell them your problem. What are your problem? Tell them. They are a democratic setup. They will help you. See how the difference is there. So Pakistan is trying to break the country, whereas India is not trying to break the country where? In Sri Lanka. Not only that, India also sent the peacekeeping forces to Sri Lanka to fight against LTTE. But whereas in Pakistan, Pakistan is sending Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, terrorist organizations into Kashmir. So who are ethically strong? Who are true democracy? Who are open society? Who are ethically strong? So this is the reasons, The great thing about India is India's consistency. India had one thing. What we talk and what we do will be in synchronization. what we talk and what we do, which is called as consistency. That is called as probity. What I speak and what I do, both are in synchronization, is called as probity. India, what it says, it follows it. For example, renewable energy. 2015 Paris Climate Summit. We had promised that we are going aggressively with respect to renewable energy, and we are going to make our 50% of electricity production from solar energy. And we did it, we are doing it. The same thing was not followed by China, the same thing was not followed by America, the same thing was never followed by Pakistan, but India is doing so. Why, sir? Because of democracy. Why, sir? Because of strong opposition. Strong opposition. You told this, that we are going to provide renewable energy. Why you are not doing so? Opposition in India is asking the ruling government. So ruling government is on toe. Oh, I had promised this. They have to do it. The India's credibility is its foreign relations. India's credibility is its consistency. That is the reason, 100%. In a small country, what is the geography? If you see, the geography of India is this much only. The population is 145 crore population. This much small country, which is larger than China, which the population was larger than China, but it is what it is doing, what it is talking, it is doing. ఏం చెప్తుందో అది చేస్తుంది. So the one of the country which is ethically strong in international relations is, one of the country is India. Other countries also there, but India is also there. I am not telling India is the only country. India is one of the country. See, for every country there is a need for credibility. Every man also. For me also credibility should be there. For you also credibility should be there. That credibility need to be developed. That credibility need to be established. India created that credibility. International relations, what is important? The credibility is important, which is being established by India. So, what are the determinants of ethics in international relations? What are the determinants? What are the factors? What are the determinants? What are the factors which are determining ethics in international relations? Mainly three things. One is national interests. Generally, not India, generally, anywhere. National interest. What is my interest? Naakenti. National interest. Second is interest of humanity in general. Third is sovereignty. Yes. My own policies I will make, man. Who are you to determine what policies I should make? Sovereignty. I can make my own internal policy. I can make my own external policy. Making my own internal policy, making my own external policy is called as sovereignty. So, any question, remember these 3 points. Any questions on ethics in international relations? Every country's international relations are mainly based upon these 3 points. Number 1 is national interest, protection of human rights in general, and third is sovereignty. If these 3 things are compromised, ethics is compromised. ఈ మూడిట్లో ఏది కాంప్రమైజ్ అయినా కూడా ఎథిక్స్ కాంప్రమైజ్ అన్నట్టే. ఈ 3 కాంప్రమైజ్ అయితే మొత్తానికి ఎథిక్స్ లేనట్టు. ఫస్ట్ నేషనల్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్. ఎస్ సార్, నేషనల్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్. వాట్ ఈస్ అడ్వాంటేజ్, వాట్ ఈస్ ద డిసడ్వాంటేజ్? What is advantage? What is a disadvantage? For example, I will tell you. Here, there is a Hambantota. Here, there is a Hambantota. India helped Sri Lanka, blue color, and removed LTT. Sri Lanka removed with the help of India. Very big problem. If not, the country would be divided into 2 pieces. That much big problem was being solved by Sri Lanka with the help of. But what China did? A very big port was being constructed in Hambantota, and this port was being, India was ready that yes, Sri Lanka, you don't worry, I will give you the fund, we will develop together. But China told, I will give you 100 rupees extra. Then Sri Lanka immediately, okay, China, you only do. And they not only constructed their port, they also constructed their base, their military base. So we have a problem, we have a doubt every time with which country? China. So now one string has been, one pearl was been created here. Similarly, Maldives. India and Maldives were been very good relation from international, from history. Sri Lanka, China had created its military base in Maldives. Bangladesh is also supporting China. So India is being circled by China. So why the Hambantota was being given to China? In spite India was ready that I will construct your Hambantota port, you don't worry. In spite of the promise by India, then why Sri Lanka gave to national interest? National interest, oh, they are going to give more funds. India is doing bargaining. Whereas China is, how much you want, take it. So Sri Lanka went with China. What was the factor? National interest. They forgotten historically what we did. They forgotten that we are historically together. They forgotten that we are culturally same. But still the Sri Lanka went with China. What was the factor? National interest. So national interest play a major role. Every nation argues that all her interaction with outside world that seek to bring benefits or prevent harm to her people, assets and principles are ethical. నాకు ఏది బెనిఫిటో, నా పీపుల్కి ఏది బెనిఫిటో, నాకు ఏది లాభం చేకూరుతుందో అదే వాళ్ళు ఎథిక్స్ అనుకున్నారు. అదే వాళ్ళు ఎథిక్స్ అనుకుంటున్నారు. ఎందులో? ఎథిక్స్ ఇన్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ రిలేషన్స్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, వన్ క్లాసిక్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఐ విల్ టెల్ యూ. Xinjiang province in China. Xinjiang province in China. If you see that world map there, in that Xinjiang China province is located, there you can see Kyrgyzstan. Just below the Kyrgyzstan word, you can see there will be a Xinjiang province, which is northwest side of China. Xinjiang province. In that Xinjiang province, Muslims are there who are called as Uyghur Muslims. Uyghur Muslims, that very big province, in that very big province, Muslim population is more. And there the Mandarin, China speaks Mandarin language, and the people are, majority people are Han Chinese. And you know that the China policy is one China policy. They want everyone should speak only one language, which is called as Mandarin, and everyone should be of one community who are called as Han Chinese community. But what happened in Xinjiang province? Who are there? Uyghur Muslims are there. Their religion is what? Their Islam. Their religion is Islam. So now the China want to convert everyone into Han Chinese. Now China, mainstream China want to change their language from Urdu or Arabic to Mandarin language. So they will not accept. Whether they will accept? They will not accept. So they revolted. Who? Uyghur Muslims revolted. Where? In Xinjiang province. Of which country? China. When they revolted, China aggressively sent their military, sent their air force to kill those who are resisting against the one China policy. For every 3 people who are moving on the roads in Xinjiang province, from 3, 1 person will be a police, 1 person will be police or military or a investigation agency person or a government person. Means from 3 people, 1 person will be a government officer who will be checking whether any terrorist organization is coming up or not. So much of persecution, so much of atrocities. But not a single Muslim country will raise their voice against China. ఏదైనా ఒక కంట్రీ చైనా ఎందుకు ఇలా చేస్తున్నావు మా ముస్లింల పట్ల అని ఎవరైనా అన్నారా ఇప్పటివరకు? పాకిస్తాన్, ఆఫ్ఘనిస్తాన్, సౌదీ అరేబియా, బహ్రీన్, యమన్, ఖతర్, దుబాయ్, ఇరాన్, ఇరాక్, ఎనీ వన్ కంట్రీ టోల్డ్ సచ్ ఇన్ ఎనీ మీడియా? హ్యావ్ యూ నోటీస్డ్? హ్యావ్ యూ సీన్? ఐ డిడ్ంట్ సీ. So much of persecution, so much of discrimination, so much of exploitation, so much of violation of human rights is happening in Xinjiang province, but still anyhow those people cannot speak. Why? Because they are under persecution. వాళ్ళు మాట్లాడగలరా? మాట్లాడలేరు కదా. ఎందుకు? వాళ్ళు ఎవరు కంట్రోల్లో ఉన్నారు? చైనా కంట్రోల్. వాళ్ళు మాట్లాడలేరు. కానీ అక్కడ మాత్రం పర్సిక్యూషన్ జరుగుతుందని మాత్రం తెలుసు. అప్పుడు ఎవరు మాట్లాడాలి? ఎవరు మాట్లాడాలి? ముస్లిం కంట్రీస్ మాట్లాడాలి. ఎందుకు? అక్కడ పర్సిక్యూట్ అయ్యేది ఎవరు? ముస్లింలు. ఇండియాలో ఏదో ఒక చోట ఒక చిన్న బాంబు పేలితే అందులో ఇద్దరు ముస్లిం చనిపోయారు అనుకోండి, ఖతర్, బహ్రెయిన్, పాకిస్తాన్, ఎవ్రీవన్ విల్ కమ్ అండ్ క్రిటిసైజ్ ఇండియా. If 20 people died and the 2 Muslims are there, you are not protecting Muslims, it will tell. Then why the same Muslim countries are not talking against China? You should get this doubt. You see any mainstream media. You check in Google also. Immediately you check in the Google, check in the YouTube also. Never. No Muslim country, no Gulf country outspoken against China. National interest. Why, sir? National interest. The China's investments are there in Qatar. The China's investments are there in Maldives. The China interest is huge in Pakistan. The China has constructed big cities in Afghanistan. The China is pumping money into them. The China is running the government there. The China is constructing the infrastructure there. If they speak against China, China will stop funding. So they are giving importance to what? National interest. They are giving importance to what? Their own country interest. So in that way, in international relations, what will be playing major role? National interest will play the major role. Like this, whenever you write an answer, UPSC exam is all about how you are proving your statement, how you are argument, that is argumentative essay we will tell, no? Argumentative answer. We will use the word argumentative essay, argumentative answer. Idem sir argument ante titkodam kada, adi kaadu argumentative ante. Argumentative means for every statement we are substantiating with a proper example so that other person will not argue with us. Examples we have to use and we have to prove it. Yes, 100%. You know, if something happened in India, a mosque was been bombarded, for example. A mosque was been bombarded. Whether Muslim countries will keep quiet? No, every Muslim country will criticize. Good only. Then why the same thing is not happening against China? Oh, national interest. You people are getting benefited from China, so you don't want to hurt China. Manavadu cheste oppu, pagavadu cheste తప్పు. కొమ్మే కదని పీకేస్తే మనవాడైతే ఏం కాదు, పగవాడైతే. సో దెర్ ఈస్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఈజ్ ఎ మూవీ ఇన్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ రిలేషన్స్. Everything rotate around what? National interest. What I am going to get. Suppose a particular, now the bigger problem I will tell you. See this map. Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia. You know, Nile have 2 rivers. Nile is a combination of 2 rivers. Nile is having 2 rivers. One is called as White Nile, other is called as Blue Nile. ఆ రెండు కలయికనే కలిసి పెద్ద నైల్ లా మారుతుంది అనమాట. సో నైల్ ఈజ్ ఎ కాంబినేషన్ ఆఫ్ 2 tributaries. One tributary is called as White Nile, other tributary is called as Blue Nile. White Nile river is very big. Blue Nile is also big, but not at the level of White Nile. These are upper riparian. Map ఇలా ఉంది కదా అని పైనుంచి కిందికి వస్తుంది అనుకోదు వాటర్. సో upper riparian. So water will be flowing from here and will be joining Mediterranean Sea. Now what Egypt is doing, Egypt did a new delta project they planned here. A new delta project they created. What it did? Here they dig a very big reservoir under the earth. Means deeper, they dig a very big reservoir. So when the reservoir is there, according to gravity, this water all will jump and fall into this. Are you getting my point? So this all water is coming and directly because of gravity, the water will come and store into the reservoir. And the reservoir is not normal. The reservoir was been digged inside up to 300-400 meters. So water is being stored so that Egypt will not have water crisis. Why? Because they are storing the water. But water will run from where? Ethiopia and Sudan because of gravity. National interest. They told, please don't do that. If not, our water will run down. వాళ్ళకు కూడా స్టోర్ చేసుకోవాలనుకుంటారు కదా, మాకు స్టోర్ చేసుకోవడానికి వీలు లేదు. ఎందుకంటే అక్కడ ఏముంది, ఒక పెద్ద రిజర్వాయర్ చేశారు. సో వాటర్ అంతా అందులోకి వెళ్ళిపోతాయి బికాస్ ఆఫ్ గ్రావిటీ. మాకు ఎలానండి, మేము మా ఊర్లలోకి మేము కెనాల్ వేసుకొని మేము వాటర్ ఇవ్వాలనుకుంటున్నాం, అంతేనా కదా? మా ఊర్లలోకి మేము కెనాల్ వేసుకొని మా వాళ్ళకి మేము వాటర్ ఇద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నాం. నువ్వు ఒకటేసారి కింద ఒక సంపులాగా పెట్టి లాగేస్తున్నావు వాటర్. మరి మా వాళ్ళకి ఎలా వాటర్ అన్నప్పుడు మీ ఇష్టం అండి, నేను నా కంట్రీలో నేను చేసుకున్నాను కదా, నేను మీ కంట్రీలో అయితే చేయలేదు కదా, నేను నా బౌండరీలో నా జియోగ్రఫీలో నేను చేశాను కదా అని అన్నారు అనమాట. అప్పుడు సుడాన్, ఇథియోపియా వాట్ దే డిడ్, ఓకే నువ్వు అలా అవుతావా సరే అని చెప్పేసి దిస్ పీపుల్ దే కన్స్ట్రక్టెడ్ డ్యామ్ హియర్. They constructed a dam here. Now they stopped water going into the Egypt. And they constructed the dam here and the water they diverted here. From here the water which has been there, they constructed a dam here and they diverted the water here. Now where the water is not going? Egypt should think about it. So why Egypt did it? Because of national interest. Why Sudan did? Because of its own national interest. Why Ethiopia did? Because of its own national interest. Then what will happen next? War. What will happen? War. Egypt, we are civilized country, we have pyramids, we are more developed country. You Ethiopia, who are you? They started bombarding Ethiopia. Sudan, who are you people? Uneducated people, you will construct the dam? See, I will bombard your dam. Water? Wars. Because of national interest. Indus Water Treaty. Why we need to go up to here? Indus Water Treaty of 1960. Indus Water Treaty of 1960, whereby Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Satluj, Indus combined to flow into India. Now, if Pakistan construct a dam there, finish. Or Brahmaputra, which starts in China, it flows down into Arunachal Pradesh. Now, China is planning to construct a dam. If they construct the dam, the water will not flow down the Northeast India. Then who is going to suffer? Why China is doing? So national interest. Why Pakistan, if they do, why they do? National interest. Suppose a particular river courses across two countries. The lower riparian countries depended on this river for drinking water and growing food crops for self-sustenance. Then cutting of this river flow could spill disaster to the citizens of lower riparian. మన ప్యాసేజ్ ఉంది, కామన్ ప్యాసేజ్. ఎనుకో ఇల్లు ఉంది, గోడ పెట్టేసామనుకోండి, ఆయన ఇంటికి ఎలా వెళ్తారు ఇప్పుడు? దే ఆర్ లోవర్ రైపీరియన్, వీఆర్ అప్పర్ రైపీరియన్. వన్స్ ద గేట్ హ్యాస్ బీన్ క్లోజ్, డన్. సో దిట్ ఇస్ వెరీ డేంజరస్. వెదర్ హీ విల్ కీప్ క్వైట్? నో, హీ విల్ నాట్ కీప్ క్వైట్. గట్టికాడు పంచాయతీ అంటారు తెలుసా మీకు? ఈ వాటర్ దగ్గర, ఈ భూమి దగ్గర 1 సెంటీమీటర్ అయినా 1 సెంటీమీటర్ అయినా వాటర్ వస్తూ ఉంటే మధ్యలో వాటర్ వేసినా కూడా చంపేసుకుంటారు. ఈ కంట్రీలు ఇక్కడ వీళ్ళు ఏం చేసుకుంటే బాంబులు వేసుకుంటారు. If the upper riparian nation builds a dam to divert the water flow, then the lower riparian nation may declare war. All the destruction inflicted on the upper riparian nation is ethically to safeguard the interests of. So the upper riparian should think. Ethiopia should think. Sudan should think. Ayyo, Egypt people, what they will drink? Ethiopia should think. If they are constructing a dam, what the Sudan people will drink, what Egypt people, how the Egypt people will do irrigation. Egypt should think, if I construct a very big reservoir, then because of gravity, total water will come into Egypt, then what for Sudan? So that should be there. If that sympathy, that compassion, that empathy is there, then there will be no conflict. Yes, you have a national interest. You make a proper treaty. How we have Indus Water Treaty in 1960 with Pakistan, and we are properly implementing it. That is there. So India is happy and Pakistan is also happy. So come up with a proper treaty, so that Egypt will be getting this much TMCs of water, Sudan will be getting this much TMCs of water, and Ethiopia will be getting this much of TMCs of water. So everything will be scientific. When everything is scientific, there will be no conflict. National interest will be served, as well as human rights violation will not happen. Sovereignty also will be maintained. It is to be noted that destruction inflicted is to be the barest minimum and is to be restored to only after all other options are exhausted. So finally, national interest should not result in the war. Yes, you have national interest, but without destroying the national interest of other country. నాకు కావాలి సార్, కానీ వాడిది కాదు సార్, నాకంటూ నాకు కావాలి, నాకు లాగేసుకొని నాకొద్దు, నాది నేను సంపాదించుకుంటాను, నేను మంచివాడినే, వాడు మంచివాడే, నేనే మంచివాడిని, నాకే అన్ని కావాలి అంటే మాత్రం ఖచ్చితంగా ఇట్ లీడ్స్ టు వాట్? వార్. సో ద నేషన్స్ ఆర్ ఆల్సో లైక్ ఇండివిజువల్స్. The nations are also like individuals. Nations also like human beings. Water issues between Egypt, Sudan and Ethiopia. You have to draw this. Not best diagram, just randomly you can draw. Next, interests of humanity in general. Myanmar, Rakhine state. See the map there. Rakhine, Myanmar country you can see. Where is Myanmar? Yes. There in the world map, big one, you can see the Myanmar. In Myanmar, northwest, there is a state called as Rakhine state, which is ruled by Buddhists. And they have enmity with Rohingya Muslims. Rohingya is a community name. And they persecute Rohingya Muslims. And they want Muslims to be converted to Buddhists, or else Muslims should go away from Myanmar. Blatant violation of human rights. It is complete against what? Humanity. Now Bangladesh is coming up. They are telling that. Now they want to remove the secular from their constitution. Now they want only the Muslims to be lived in Bangladesh. Violation of humanity. The same thing if India tells only Hindus should stay in India, then what will happen to the humanity? Then what will happen to the man on the earth? The survival of the man will be questioned. The man will become extinct. Yes or no? మనిషి అనేవాడే ఉండకుండా అయిపోతాడు ప్రపంచంలో. సో దెర్ ఇస్ ఎ నీడ్ టు ప్రొటెక్ట్ హ్యుమానిటీ. ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ హ్యుమానిటీ రిఫర్స్ టు ద లెజిటిమేట్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ ద హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్స్ ఆన్ ద ఎర్త్. మెనీ టైమ్స్ యాక్షన్స్ ఆఫ్ వన్ నేషన్ షాల్ హ్యావ్ ఇంపాక్ట్ ఆన్ ద పీపుల్ అక్రాస్ ద గ్లోబ్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, when we go on the road, sometimes autos will come, they will run with kerosene. Huge black color smoke they will be giving, and happily he will be keeping songs and he will be going. Behind the auto, whoever are going on bike, they will become dark by the time they go home, and he will be happily going. Means a single person's hungry or single person's exploitation is leading to environment, people, lung disease, etc., etc. So humanity should be protected. One man's nuclear bomb, one man's wrong nuclear fusion might impact complete world. One wrong decision of United States of America to bombard Hiroshima and Nagasaki led to death of 2 crore population. And the impact is being seen today also. After how many years? 80 years. 1945 today 2025. How many years? 80 years. After 80 years also we can see the impact of Hiroshima, Nagasaki on Japanese population. One wrong decision of United States of America led to death of 2 crore population. 2 cities bombarded like anything. Complete 2 crore population got violated. Overall up to now, diseases, everything. So first thing is, before national interest, what is most important? Humanity. Before we are nationalist, we are human beings. Before we are part of a nation, we are part of mankind. Before we are part of the geography, we are part of the world. Before we are part of this boundary, we are part of the nature. In this regard, an action that harms the interests of humanity is regarded as unethical. A nation has conducted an atomic test in its territory, but the radiations have spread to the neighboring countries as well. The action cannot be called ethical. నా కంట్రీలో నేను బాంబు పెట్టుకుంటే మీకేమవుతుందండి? Wife and husband are fighting like anything in apartment. Sound is coming like anything. And all the neighbors came, what you people are doing, why you are shouting? Then again wife and husband united. మీకేమవుతుందండి? మీరు ఫైటింగ్ చేసుకోండి. So it is unethical only. Why? Because of you, a third person is getting impacted is, yes, unethical. Humanity in general cannot be compromised. At least national interest can be compromised sometimes, but mankind, humanity cannot be compromised. Third is sovereignty. sovereignty. My sovereign name, I'm also sovereign. My decisions will be made by myself, no? My decisions, how you can make? I cannot make your decisions, you cannot make my decisions. If that is the case for individual, then what is the case for the nation? If that is the case for individual, then what is the case for nation? We are nation, we ourselves a country, we will be making our own decisions. Why we have to listen to your decisions? Why we have to follow your guidelines? We are socialist, we will go with socialism. We are communist, we will go with communism, but we compromise. Communism, okay, but we compromise with socialism. Now we became capitalists. Completely India became capitalism because of World Bank and IMF. Every nation possesses external sovereignty to be free from any external interference in the administration of its territory. Thus, action of any nation that disrupts the legitimate rights of a country to govern its people and territory is regarded to be grossly unethical. నేను చేసే పనుల వల్ల నీ యొక్క టెరిటరీకి ఏదైనా ఇబ్బంది అయిందనంటే దాని అర్థం ఇట్స్ అన్ఎథికల్ థింగ్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, I kept a test of nuclear bomb and this radiations were being felt in nearby Pakistan. Then obviously it is unethical. I was been testing here with respect to my modern weapons and this one weapon went into other country. Yes, 100% it's unethical. I'm talking about India. Then if you see this world map, if here small countries are there, just like one line will be there if you cross other country. One line is other country. Compulsory other countries will have impact or not. Here one highly polluted company was been established or given permission, given license, and they are producing huge pollution. Whether other countries will be impacted or not. A country needs access to the crude oil in another country to run her manufacturing industry. This industry is critical to the livelihood of our people. The latter country has now denied access to this crude oil to latter country. This has caused a lot of concern in the former country. In an attempt to save her people, the former country bribes the military of another country to displace a democratic regime. This action is grossly unethical. So many times it happens. I want to control that country. So I am pumping money to the military. Military, you are having weapon, you will be supported by me. Go and dismantle the democratic setup. Already you are having my weapons, already you are having trained people, you can do it. Lot of African countries which are called as military coup. Cinema lo chustuntam, military coup. Military coup means what? Military officers will be taking the power on the country by dismantling civilian government, democratically elected government. Who will do so? Other country will do. So that now, proxy, who will be ruling the country? Other country. Who will be ruling the country? Why? Because that military got the power because of the other country. So, indirectly, who is ruling the country? Other country. Subsidiary alliance, Nizam of Hyderabad. He is living in India. He is part of India. At least Nizam was independent, but what Nizam did? British told, I will come and attack you. No. What I should do? You just listen to me. You will be independent, but you should listen to me. So, whatever the policies happening in Hyderabad, with whom you have to maintain the friendship, who are your friends, who are your enemies, who will determine for Hyderabad now? British will tell. వాళ్ళతో మాట్లాడాలి, వీళ్ళతో మాట్లాడు. వీళ్ళతో మాట్లాడాలంటే నాకు కోపం వస్తుంది. సో వీళ్ళతోని మాట్లాడకూడదు. వీళ్ళతో మాట్లాడు, వీళ్ళతో ఫ్రెండ్షిప్ చేయి. ఇవన్నీ ఎవరు డిటర్మైన్ చేస్తారు? బ్రిటిష్ will determine. So, I am compromising with my sovereignty or not? Thus, any interaction in international relations would become ethical if it satisfies the following three criteria. So, when these three criteria are satisfied properly, it is ethical. Promotion of national interest, non-harming the interests of humanity, non-interference in the sovereignty of any country. Ee moodu satisfied. Till that time, these three things are being satisfied, it is ethical. In these three, if anyone is compromised, it is called as unethical. National interest, humanity, sovereignty. Many times these three criteria are not mutually exclusive. Promotion of one criteria disturbs the other, hence it gives rise to a lot of ethical dilemmas. This dilemma have to be resolved by striking a fine balance among these criteria. For example, see this. National interest of any country protected, but non-interference into sovereignty, national interest of country, non-interference into sovereignty of other country, doesn't happen. Non-harming doesn't happen. It's called as unethical. No, 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 no. When these three are yes, then only it is called as if not any condition where harming done, where sovereignty compromised, where national interest compromised, it is called as. So simple, sir. Whether a calculation, mathematical calculation, scientific calculation, ethics are there in international relations or not, how we can calculate when national interest is promoted, humanity is protected, sovereignty is uncompromised, then it is ethical. In these three, any one is compromised or any two is compromised or three are compromised, obviously it is called as unethical. So when we are maintaining any foreign relations, we have to keep in our mind that yes, sovereignty should be protected, human rights violation should not happen, and national interest should be maintained. Simple. So ఏ ఆన్సర్లోనైనా ఏ ప్రశ్న అడిగినా కూడా ఇంటర్నేషనల్ రిలేషన్స్లో ఈ మూడు ప్రొటెక్ట్ అవుతున్నాయి. విల్ క్రాస్ చెక్. నవ్ యూ సీ, నవ్ విల్ క్రాస్ చెక్. The will to power exists, but it can be tamed and be guided by rationality and principles of moral duty. The will to power exists. ఎప్పుడైనా కూడా నేను నిన్ను డామినేట్ చేయాలనుకుంటా. ఇట్స్ ఎ న్యాచురల్ టెండెన్సీ. ఐ వాంట్ టు రూల్ పాకిస్తాన్. I want to destroy Pakistan. Yes, the will is there, but however it should be tamed by rationality. Why? What ethics is telling? If I try to control them, their national interest will be compromised, their sovereignty will be compromised. When I try to control them, if I want to dominate them, obviously those people will revolt, so I will kill them. So humanity is also impacted. Unethical or not? Just 3 points I checked. 3 criteria I checked. These 3 criteria are being violated. Hence, taming another country is, dominating another country is unethical. Second, refugees should not be turned back to the country where they would face persecution or human rights violation. Yes, they should not be turned. If you turn, unethical. Why? Humanity. No sovereignty, no national interest. But what? Humanity is there. So hence it is unethical. You have to protect humanity also. Why you are thinking only about your country, man? Yes, I know. If you don't allow refugees, your national interest will be protected. Yes or no? If you don't allow refugees, your national interest will be protected. Why? Because the resources of your country will be used only for your citizens. But if refugees came, now the resources of your country should also be given to refugees. So your national interest is compromised. I understand that. So only which one point is violated? Which point? Humanity. Third, international aid is an accepted form of helping resource-challenged nations. Comment on this, whether it is ethical or unethical. Sovereignty is compromised, no? If anyone is giving money, means there will be hinges or not? If anyone is giving money, means there will be condition or not? 100%. If condition is there, means sovereignty compromised or not? Sovereignty compromised means ethical or unethical? Now we solved all the PYQs. So for every subject, there will be one formula. Every answer is science only, mathematics, calculation, hence proved. Hence proved it is unethical. ఆ 3 క్రైటీరియాలు చెక్ చేసుకున్నాం మనం. 3 క్రైటీరియా చెక్ చేసుకున్నాం కాబట్టి ఆ 3 క్రైటీరియాసే మనం ఇంటర్నేషనల్ రిలేషన్స్లో ఎథిక్స్ అని అనుకుంటాం. అందులో ఒకటి వైలేట్ అయినా కూడా ఆ బాక్స్ ఒకటే ఇస్తారు మీరు. అందులో ఏదేది వైలేట్ సగం పేజీ నిండిపోయింది. ఆ బాక్స్ చూడగానే ఇది కొత్తగా రాశాడు అని అనుకుంటారు. ఇది బాక్స్, ఓహో ఓకే, ప్లస్ నో అని ఉంది, ఎస్ అని ఉంది, అనెథికల్ అని ఉంది, ఎథికల్ అని ఉంది, ఇదేదో బాగుంది, కొత్తగా ఉంది అని ఇంకో మార్క్ వేస్తారు. అలా వీ హ్యావ్ టు డివైజ్ ఇట్, వీ హ్యావ్ టు ప్లాన్ ఇట్. Illustration for various situations in according to, for example, slave trade in Africa to promote business interest in Europe. I want people to work in Europe. Ethical or unethical? Unethical. Ethical or unethical? unethically, how much she or he, anything, how much she is a human being, that much he is a human being. How much she is a human being, that much he is a human being. But his humanity is completely violated. His human rights is completely violated. He became an animal for the entertainment of white people. Slave trade. They were being took like this into Europe. This is Congo country. This is a real photo. The photographer got World International Prize. This was a real photo where the Belgium was the colonial power in Congo. So parents used to go, the Belgium white people used to go to Congo and they used to select the boys, or not only boys, they used to select the kids for playing for kids of white. Blatant violation of human rights. ఆడుకున్నంతసేపు ఆడుకొని వదిలేసి వెళ్ళిపోతారు అనమాట. Mostly, no country involves in actions that go against its national interest. However, there are exceptions with regard to countries that are ruled by dictators. For example, action of Indian kings like Nizam of Hyderabad, who undermined national interest by aligning with British to fight their opponents within India. Eventually, they agreed to the policies of subsidiary elements, whereby undermining their own sovereignty. ఇదే కాంప్రమైజ్ ఏదో ఆ మరాఠాతో కాంప్రమైజ్ అయితే అయిపోయేది కదా. కనీసం ఇంటి పక్కోడు ఎక్కడి నుంచో వచ్చిన కొత్త కాలనీ ఎక్కడి నుంచో వచ్చిన వాడితో చేసే బదులు పక్కన ఉన్న వాడితోనే కాంప్రమైజ్ అయితే అయిపోయేది కదా. ఎలా కాంప్రమైజ్ అయ్యావు? ఎవరితో కాంప్రమైజ్ అయ్యావు? ఆ కాంప్రమైజ్ మరాఠానే కావచ్చు కదా. ఇదన్నమాట దూరపు కొండలు. Apartheid. This is one more thing. Apartheid. Complete violation of blacks versus white. For the first time in the history of mankind. For the first time in the history of mankind, laws were being made. Chatta rupakanga. Chattal chesaru. Laws were being made in order to discriminate. In order to exploit. No country in the world made a law. The only country in the world which made a law, yes, you can discriminate, you can exploit, was South Africa. Shame on British. Shame on the Queen of British. Exploiting, okay, fine. Discriminating, okay, fine. But you are making a law such that, yes, discrimination will happen and we will do discrimination. It is the law of the land. అది చట్టం, అది లా. అపార్థైడ్. India is far better. We didn't make any law. The discrimination what happened in our history is made by one upper caste, that's it. Few people accepted, few people didn't accept it, reforms came up. But we didn't make any law. But South Africa made a law, legally enforced it, and told to the people, motivated the people to go and do discrimination. India is far, far, far better. The West who speaks about India's casteism, the West who speaks about the discrimination which happens in India, first they have to look at in their history. What happened in their history? America, the black versus white conflict, complete civil war between the southern part of United States of America and northern part of United States of America. You know, southern part of United States of America are against black people. Northern part of United States of America is for equality. That both South and North was in civil war. United States of America, Chicago, nearly 2,000 people were being killed. Black people were being killed. Today also there is discrimination. Multiple times Oprah Winfrey told, Michelle Obama told, the colored people were being discriminated. Yesterday, one Nalgonda Telugu boy was being killed in America. Yesterday, Nalgonda district, Telugu boy was being killed in America. So it's because you cannot see a news saying that white people discrimination. no care, no respect, or no, so such type of violations were been happening. So here coming to the point, apartheid, unethical, 100% unethical. Developing countries entering multilateral agreement out of compulsion to shut factories in order to comply with standards of environmental conservation. This undermines the chance of development for developing countries, their right of self-governance within their territory. For example, I will tell you. India in Paris Climate 2015 told that we are going to control our release of pollution into the atmosphere, for which we came up with an action called as intended nationally determined climate contributions. మేము ఖచ్చితంగా ఇంత మాత్రమే కార్బన్ ఎమిషన్స్ చేస్తాము, దీనికన్నా ఎక్కువ కార్బన్ ఎమిషన్స్ చేయము అని చెప్పేసి ప్రామిస్ చేశాం మనం ప్యారిస్ క్లైమేట్ సమిట్లో. దానికి కట్టుబడి ఉన్నాం ఈ రోజు వరకు కూడా. ద సేమ్ థింగ్ USA, who had a legally binding agreement, who signed in Paris climate that we are going to control our carbon emissions, we are going to control our pollution levels, was been withdrawn by Trump. So who is ethically strong? India is ethically strong. We compromise with our development being a developing country, but they didn't compromise their development being a developed country. We never withdrawn. In spite, we went for renewable energy. Yes, I know, India, we cannot compromise on development. So I will have an alternative mechanism. The alternative mechanism is renewable. The same thing USA can do. No, USA didn't do it. USA said, no, I am not going to compromise on development. I am going to withdraw from the Paris climate summit. So who are ethically strong? India is ethically strong. Building of dams on lifeline river by upper riparian countries obstructing flows to a lower riparian country. Ethiopia constructing, or Sudan constructing, or else China constructing on Brahmaputra, is complete violation of ethics. Spying for unearthing terrorist outfits in other countries, carrying out attacks on terrorist outfits in other countries that target people across geographical boundaries. For example, assassination of Osama bin Laden by USA in Pakistani territory. Shame for Pakistan. Why, sir? Someone come, that too a government officers, SEALs will come, they will kill, they will take, and they will go. That too they will come in helicopter. It will make sound, no? Okay, they are coming on the ground, they are coming on earth means, okay, we can understand that they will not make sound. So they cannot be found. But they came on, still the Pakistan government could not find it. Violation of sovereignty. నువ్వు ఫారెన్ సాయిల్ మీద వాళ్ళ పర్మిషన్ లేకుండా నువ్వు వచ్చావు అని అంటే పాకిస్తాన్ చేసినటువంటి యాక్ట్ ఏంటి, USA చేసినటువంటి యాక్ట్ ఏంటి? అన్ఎథికల్. బట్ పాకిస్తాన్ didn't dare to ask USA. Why? Because USA will ask, no, why Osama bin Laden is in your country. నేను మంచోని పట్టుకుపోయానా వచ్చి, నేను టెర్రరిస్ట్ని పట్టుకెళ్ళాను, అసలు మీ కంట్రీలో ఎందుకున్నాడు అని చెప్పండి ఫస్ట్. దొంగ ఇంట్లో ఉన్నాడు, వచ్చి దొంగను పట్టుకుని వెళ్ళారు, మా ఇంట్లోకి వచ్చి ఎలా పట్టుకెళ్ళి వెళ్తావా అని అడుగుదామా, లేకపోతే ఫస్ట్ దొంగ ఎందుకు మీ ఇంట్లో ఉన్నాడని అడుగుదామా? సో పాకిస్తాన్ సైడ్ తప్పు ఉంది కాబట్టి పాకిస్తాన్ didn't sought, but however it is a violation of ethics. Violation of ethics. Without latter's consent amounts to breathe out latter's sovereignty. From that standpoint, that action can be argued to be unethical. Given the relief it has brought of mankind from terrorism, it is more ethical than. But however, from the context, again context will come. The context is, yes, what USA did is unethical, but however, it is ethical in the context. Why? Because the same man is killing the mankind. The same man is responsible for the death of 2,000 people in Twin Towers. So hence it is ethical. Here we can bring the example of Gautama Buddha and we can write. When Gautama Buddha was been traveling in the ship, when pirates come and attack, the same Gautama Buddha who was promoting non-violence killed those people. And when his disciple asked that, sir, you are the person who told that we have to be non-violent and you killed these people. Yes, these people are wrong people. If I don't kill them, these people are going to kill all the people who are aboarded on this ship. So hence it is ethics, ethical. Our context lo we have to bring that example. Institution of cases of human rights violation against a country that defended its territory from anti-national elements. China or Pakistan accuses India of human rights excess in Kashmir, then it is unethical. Similarly, case against Palestine for human rights violation in defense of its territory are also examples of. Now what is happening? Nothing is happening in Kashmir. It's created by media. It is created by Pakistan. It's created by China. If they are attacking, Indian army, Indian defense forces is protecting. That's it. But how they created complete violation of human rights is happening in Kashmir. If you notice, now the war which is happening in Israel and Palestine, yes, what Israel is doing is 100% wrong, but however, you see, the first attack was been done by whom? How? They came on paragliding. The first incident was a very big incident done by the terrorists, not by Palestinians also, by terrorists. They came on paragliding. Nearly 40 terrorists came and started bombarding indiscriminately on the Israelis people. That was the kickstart. Again the kickstart. Human rights violation is happening. Hoarding of oil resource to sell them at a premium price to every other country. It is given fact that oil is the most basic commodity for every human being to carry on its activities. Violation of market principle also. India doesn't have oil. The biggest disadvantage of India is the only biggest advantage of India is in UPSC interview also, anywhere if anyone asks, oil. We don't have oil. Russia have oil. USA have natural gas. Gulf have huge oil. Every country have oil up to some extent, but India doesn't have oil. So because of which we are compromising. Without oil, whether we can think the world, without energy, we can think the world? No. Everything is oil, everything is energy. Now, if any country tells that, for example, they became a cartel like OPEC, Organization for Petroleum Exporting Countries, they became a cartel. And they told that now we will not sell our oil to any country, only we will use. So that what will happen? Supply will reduce. Getting my point? Supply will be reduced. When supply is reduced, demand will increase. When demand is increased, we can increase the price, and when the price has been increased, we will ask for high prices. So country like India will suffer or not? That activity is also called as unethical. Why? Because you are going against the principle of economy. You are going against the principle of demand and supply. Artificially, we cannot increase the prices. Stop it. If they tell that yes, we will give you oil, if and only if, give me Taj Mahal. Means unethical. If it's a strong country, we are not in a position to fight with them, then obviously we have to compromise. Unethical. Sovereignty, violation of sovereignty. So natural resources, for example, now rare earth metal, who is having 99% of rare earth metals in the world? China. China is having 99% of rare earth metals in the world. China is completely controlling rare earth metals. Why? Because accidentally they are only having. Where we will use rare earth metals? Satellites, rockets, defense, space, biotechnology. In every medical equipment we will use rare earth metals. But this rare earth metals is present only with, the rare earth metal is very, very costly. But the rare earth metal is abundantly available in China. But they are telling that rare earth metals are very rare, so the price is high. But reality is not the same. Another factor why China is developing, another reason why China is growing technologically is because of availability of rare earth metals. In the international market, they are telling that we don't have rare earth metals. So prices are high. But that is not the reality. Violation of ethics. You are not following the principles of economy. You are not following the principles of demand and supply. An MNC carrying out business in a foreign country, paying taxes diligently and abiding local laws. Very good. Ethical. They should not escape. They should follow the local laws. For example, hamburger of McDonald's. Hamburger is a famous, highly sold item of McDonald's. But that hamburger is absent in India. Why? Because they are abiding by local laws. The local law is telling that the cow slaughtering or the beef made material should not be easily available. Unnecessary why conflict, so they avoided it. They are following local laws. They are paying taxes. So this is what international relations. So everything rotated around three things. Number one, number two, number three. Important IR interactions. War is one interaction. Most important, war. how the war is, international funding is second interaction. These are the international investment is a third interaction. In this way, these three interactions. Write one question. See the question. Refugees should not be turned back to the country where they would face persecution and human rights violation. Examine the statement with reference to ethical dimension being violated by the nation claiming ethical dimension. Three dimensions are there in international relations. What are the three dimensions? National interest, humanity, and sovereignty. Being violated by the nation claiming to be democratic with open society. So first you should write with refugee. How you should write an answer for such type of questions? First you should write the context. For every answer there will be one particular mechanism, context. In 21st century, refugees problem is more vibrant issue across the world. For instance, Rohingya Muslims from Myanmar, Shias from Syria into Greece by crossing Mediterranean Sea, Bengali Hindus from Bangladesh into India, Sri Lankan Tamilians from Sri Lanka into Tamil Nadu. Hence, the refugee issue is much in the news. We gave the context. Second paragraph. Refugees are those people who are catching their lives in their hands and running away from their own country into another country in search of security, so that at least they can leave. Such section of people are called as refugees. Full stop. But in this context, few countries are not allowing these refugees into their country, because of which they are losing their valuable lives. In this context, we are going next paragraph. In this context, we are going to understand the countries who are turning back by not allowing the refugees into their countries, and few countries who are allowing them into their countries, whether ethical or unethical. Number one, national interest. First heading is national interest. So national interest should not be compromised. If refugees come, the national interest will be compromised. Why? Because the resources of the country should be used only for their citizens, but now the same resources will be used for refugees. So hence the national interest will be compromised. Hence, not allowing the refugees into their country is ethical. Number two, humanity. Refugees who are coming in order to protect their lives in humanitarian grounds, it is ethical, because it is the man first, then the nation second. Human being first and the country second. In this particular ground, protection of humanity is most important. Hence, if you are not allowing the refugees, it is violation of ethics. And if you are protecting the refugees, it is called as protection of ethics. Hence, if you give refugee status in the country, it is called as ethics. Third, sovereignty. Few times the sovereignty might be compromised. Why? Because if the number might increase. What happened in France? Because of giving more refugee status to Muslims, now the policies in France were being made by the refugees. Hence, the local people will tell that giving refugees a citizenship might lead to compromise of sovereignty. Hence, if sovereignty is getting compromised, it is unethical. If sovereignty is not compromised, it is called as ethics. Hence, from these three grounds, we can tell that yes, we have to give the refugees their livelihood in our country based on humanitarian grounds. Hence, it is ethically correct. Hence, proved like that. 2 pages. How many marks? 10 marks. 2 pages. Draw one diagram also. You will get marks. So we covered 3. In that you can also add some accountability, transparency, rule of law. These all things also will be compromised based upon national interests. But in humanity, what will be promoted? Humanity will be promoted. Love will be promoted. Affection will be promoted. Fraternity will be promoted. Yes or no? Like this, we have to write your answer. Yes.